From mild to wild, you can create your own experience with one of the most versatile plug-and-play foamies out there. There's a reason it flies off the shelves at the Flex warehouse. Today, we're going to be looking at the Twin Otter from Flex Innovations, and letting you know exactly what you should expect from this aircraft. To be clear up front, this is not a review, this is a product overview. So from here on out, we're going to do our best to leave our opinion out of the video, and instead focus on what you need to know before purchasing one of your own. Right off the bat, there's something important to address that every potential pilot needs to be aware of. At low airspeeds and high angles of attack with the flaps down, the nose will quickly pitch down if a high power setting is also introduced in this configuration. Without going into an overly complicated aero engineer explanation, just think of it this way. When flying at high angles of attack with the flaps down and giving higher power inputs, the flaps are close to the prop and therefore the flaps act more like thrust vectoring, creating a nose down moment. This phenomenon is even worse on floats, but not because of the flaps, but rather the destabilizing effects of the floats paired with the thrust-vectored flaps. It's worth noting that if you're quick in raising the flaps after you notice the nose beginning to pitch downwards as you bring the thrust in, you can typically get out of it without losing more than a few feet of altitude, as long as you're quick on the sticks. If you're like us and typically enter a hover with your flaps down to aid in getting the nose up quicker, be sure to pull the flaps up immediately once the nose is up, otherwise your Twin Otter may become a mini broken pieces Otter. Now what? Now we get to have some fun. The full-scale Twin Otter is a Canadian-STOL utility category aircraft developed by de Havilland Canada in the mid-1960s. It's easily one of the most recognized aircraft when it comes to the STOL multi-engine category. With double-slotted trailing edge flaps and ailerons that move down with the flaps, paired with many other great aerodynamic features, getting in and out of short strips was a breeze. You might have noticed that the version of the Twin Otter Flex Innovations doesn't have slotted or double-slotted flaps, or ailerons that droop with them. That doesn't mean it isn't capable of short takeoffs and landings. That's because of its light weight.
Once again, probably not a good idea, but we're going to try and fly this thing back here. Sorry, Kike, in advance, I apologize.
With a wing cube loading of 7.8, it strikes a fine balance between floaty, but not so floaty that it can't carry energy through more aggressive maneuvers. The Twin Otter putts around slowly with the flaps down, and if it's still not slow enough for you, go ahead and feel free to keep pulling back on the stick until you're in high alpha, which is more stable right side up than you'd think. But when neither of those are not slow enough for you still, just pop it into a hover. Or go buy a helicopter, because forward flight apparently isn't your thing, skeeter to feeder. Hover fetish? You decide. Out of the box, the Twin Otter comes with the Aura 8 pre-tuned to give you 3 flight modes: Sport with gyro off, Sport with gyro on, and Advanced with the gyro on. The Twin Otter is a lightweight aircraft for its 90-inch size, under 10 pounds, which normally would mean it would get tossed around in the wind. In fact, you'll barely notice the breeze because people often remark that the Aura makes it feel like wind isn't there. As a personal preference, we opted to set our gains all around to low rather than the factory default. On the topic of flight testing, we conducted stall testing as well. There's nothing you need to be aware of: dirty, clean, accelerated stalls, etc. The plane just mushes through the air, even if you hold the elevator fully up once stalled. On another note, adverse yaw is almost non-existent too. The Twin Otter unlocks a new part of the hobby for most: differential thrust with few limitations. You've probably seen videos by now of pilots doing crazy 720s on an upline, aka a pinwheel on an upline, or even going from doing a knife edge to the plane's nose doing a 360 on the vertical axis. The differential thrust makes more maneuvers possible. Outside of the differential thrust, which can be turned on or off with a switch, you'll find the Twin Otter to be 3D capable. We feel it'd be better to show you than tell you. You can tell that the box is a box because of the way that it is. It is large, it is in charge, and it's waiting to trip your drunk ass in the dark at 3 a.m. in the hallway while you try and sneak back to bed. Either way, we have something wrong with us, or our friends at Flex are on Red Bull while timing out how long it takes to assemble the Twin Otter. The site suggests to set aside an hour to build it, but we found ourselves spending 2 to 3 putting ours together, counting glue time and other steps. While we take our caffeine intake limits very seriously, we wouldn't judge you if you decided to go Peter Griffin with your Red Bull and get the build done quicker.
John!
Can I try some Red Bull?
Oh my God, can you try some Red Bull? Chris, I take it as an insult if you didn't. Here you go, have some cans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go on, take it.
Overall, the manual will guide you through the assembly process for the Twin Otter. As long as you've assembled a few aircraft before, you'll find the process isn't bad at all, but it just isn't quite as turnkey as other plug-and-play foamies out there these days. Don't let this dissuade you, there's only a few things that you need to glue anyway. To be specific, epoxy is required for the tail section, the nose gear assembly, and the main gear fairings. We used 30-minute epoxy, which did the trick. For the simulated exhaust stacks, we used our favorite Starbond CA with accelerator. That's it glue-wise. Outside of the glue, the assembly was straightforward. Just be sure to follow the manual and to measure twice and cut, or glue, once. You'll need a few extra items before you're ready for flight and to take full advantage of the Twin Otter's capabilities. An 8+ channel radio, a 6S 5000 to 6000 mAh battery, and a receiver of the protocol of your choice. We opted to go with dual DSMX satellites on ours, paired with our DX18QQ from Spectrum. A computer is required to adjust the aura. Once at the field, assembly is quick. It's 4 wing bolts that are thumb screws, 2 quick connect plugs for the wing servos, plugging in the motors to the battery lead via EC3 plugs, and 2 strut clips per wing strut. Sounds like a lot, but it goes by quick. Your mom. Sorry, Ben and Cody made me. If you opt for the more expensive version of the Twin Otter, the night version, you'll be blessed with lights directly from QQ's own soul. A ton of pre-installed LEDs in the fuselage, wings, and tail. But wait, there's more. There's fin-mounted spotlights that illuminate the Twin Otter's tail from the exterior, making orientation a breeze. The lights remove the scary from flying at night. Just remember to utilize a separate 3S pack for the lights, and not your flight pack. We went with a 3S 1300 mAh and velcroed it to the same strap as the flight pack to keep it secure. Even if you decide to opt for the day version, you'll still be getting the same high-quality components the premium version offers. Some of these components include twin genuine Hobbywing 60A ESCs, dual Sky 3520C V2 motors, pin-style hinges, ball linkages, and more. It also features a huge battery compartment with a removable battery tray, which makes for easy back-to-back flights. This also gives you flexibility for what pack you want to throw in it. The recommended range is for about a 5,000 to 6,000 mAh 6S pack, but you could likely fit something significantly larger in there if flight time is more important to you than a floaty plane. Speaking of, we flew ours on a 6S 5000 and set our timer for about 5 minutes. We could get closer to 6+ minutes, flying it more gently. Floats can also be purchased separately. They make the plane big. So big it barely fit in my car. Assembling these floats was as easy as a bunch of wheel collars to hold everything in place, removing the nose gear, and some glue for the fairings for the aft float attachment points. Once in the water, differential thrust allows you to maneuver more aggressively while taxiing. If you've ever tried a knife edge with most float planes, you'll probably have noticed it feels a little weird and unstable. Floats are destabilizing by nature, but for whatever reason, we didn't notice this with the Twin Otter. It also does waterfalls at warp speed with them, but as we mentioned before, use extra caution when using flaps to get the nose up with high power settings with the floats on. You may end up pancaking your airplane. If you opt to stay on land, you'll find the gear is rugged enough for grass ops, and even took our crappy landings. For those steep approach enjoyers, the Twin Otter can be slipped aggressively. If that somehow doesn't slow you down enough and you don't believe in go-arounds, or you just really have to hit the toilet mid-flight from last night's Taco Bell, the Twin Otter can also be set up with Crow to get you down even quicker. Yes, it has enough tail authority to do wheelies. And there's even a skid on the tail to protect the foam. The Twin Otter doesn't need you. You need the Twin Otter. You crave the Twin Otter. Twin Otter is love. Twin Otter is life. Credit card debt. Get a loan. It doesn't matter. Sell your furniture. Sell your car. Sell your spouse if you must. The Twin Otter is not just a plane, it's an addiction, a calling, a reason to wake up in the morning. You won't rest until its dual motors roar beneath or above you, only it's out of stock. But if you'd like to be notified when they're back in stock, go ahead and join our mailing list. Additionally, reach out to support@tailheavyrc.com for information about additional savings. As a quick channel update, congratulations to our friend Luke out on the West Coast Best Coast for winning our monthly photo contest on our Discord with this awesome shot of his OG Park Zone Icon A5 on a mountain lake. If you want to participate in the contest, feel free to join our Discord to join our fun community. Link is in the description. The winner of the contest gets a free sticker, their photo used as a banner on our Discord, and has their photo used in our Tail Heavy calendar that will be released at the beginning of 2025. Special thanks to our channel members. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you live, laugh, love Twin Otter. Or hit subscribe if you'd like to see us take ours into a wooded area for a future vlog. Happy landings, bounce one on for us, and we'll catch you next week with a new upload.